any professional level of basically every industry, you're going to find policies and procedures and checklists to ensure efficiency within a business. And if you're paying a truck ton of money to, say, a wedding photographer, like $10,000, they'll have checklists in place to ensure that they're getting all of the major shots that they need to get. They're certainly not going to be leaving it to chance or memory. So today I want to take you guys through the shot list that I'm developing for my personal photo shoots, so that I don't get to the end of them and go, oops, because I've done that more times than I can count. And honestly, it's how most of my shoots end, because I either feel like I'm in a rush or I'm just daydreaming my happy little creative way through it and I miss out on half the shots that I had thought of previously. But if you've got a checklist, you can ensure that you're going to double, triple, or even quadruple the amount of shots that you're going to get. So let's get into it. So today's video is actually a great example of if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. As I've mentioned in past videos, I heavily script my videos before I film them. But yesterday I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go with the flow and see where this ends up. And let's just say it didn't end well. Basically, it all turned to custard. But silver lining, I did get in a mini photo shoot. I wanted to test out my shot list and it actually came out really well. I got quite a few photos out of it. I don't know how many, I'm yet to edit them, but I'll make sure that when I do November's stock photography update that I include the numbers that I got out of it for you. Anyway, it was a great test of my shot list and it highlighted a few areas that I needed to improve on. And in my previous life of being an administrator, making checklists and process lists and how-to lists were all part of my job. So that's absolutely coming in handy right now. And just as an aside on that one, this is a really great example that if you want to step into the world of photography later on in life, you might have a bunch of skills that you can bring with you. So don't underestimate all the other skills that you have. Right, back to it. Now, doing a stock photography list for a shoot that you're doing at home is completely different to a shot list that you might use for, say, a branding shoot or a wedding shoot. So I just wanted to give you a few tips today on how to get the most out of a shot list if you're going to create one, because I guarantee that you're leaving photos behind if you're not making a list. So here's my best tips on how to make a shot list and why I think it's so important. Number one, make sure that you're really clear on who your end customer and consumer is. And you might say, yeah, it's anyone that uses stock sites, but the first rule of marketing is to make really clear who your avatar is for your product or service. So let's say, for example, you're going to be taking food photography. So maybe your ideal avatar might be a mum blogger that's talking about making healthy food options for her kids that needs a couple of extra photos because maybe one day her photo shoot didn't come out quite as well, or she needs a few extras to start up her website. So it's really important as photographers, and especially if we're selling to stock photography sites, it's not just about the person that's going to buy it, the customer, because actually they're going to be using it for a PDF or social media or something like that. So they're the customer that is going to buy from us, but they're thinking about their customers, who are the consumers of that. So the consumers might be something completely different. So in stock photography, there's kind of a lot of different angles to think about when you're creating stock. So in my case, for instance, yesterday's photo shoot was about Cyber Weekend and Black Friday sales. So I was thinking about people that might be needing social media. So I was focusing heavily on making sure that I got shots that were good for Instagram stories and Facebook headers. So I made sure that some of my text or the images that I was doing was on the right hand side, because if you're looking at a Facebook header, then we've always got the little avatar that's taking up a bit of the space. So I was thinking about that when I was making it, so I made sure there was lots of extra space for it. So knowing who's going to use it and what they're going to use it for can be really, really powerful when making your shot list. It really stamps it with a purpose. Now, this isn't to say that other people can't use it, but by having somebody really clear in mind, it gives you a really clear direction for the shoot. Tip number two is to make sure that you have a clear space for the list that you want to take, but also an additional tick space to make sure that you get horizontal and vertical, and maybe you might want to get close-ups or wide shots. And that might be a little bit different if you're doing, say, a product shoot at home. You only have a small space like I did yesterday. Also, if you're going to be moving into video, for instance, then you might want to have a video section, and once again, you've got horizontal, vertical, close up and wide. So when you start mixing those together, you've actually got quite a lot of options. And this is where you get to the point of being able to double, triple, quadruple, or even more your portfolio, because you're actually using the same setup for like 10 different purposes. And if you're like, oh, but I can just take one photo and people can use it as they want to, not specifically. Not everybody is computer savvy, not everybody knows how to do design. So by providing something that is literally ready for them to just download and put straight onto their social media or straight onto their website, you're making it a lot easier for the end customer. Number 3, make sure you have a space on there for a props list, location details, any contact numbers for anybody else that might be involved in the shoot if you're doing a bigger shoot, sunrise and sunset if you're going to be relying on doing outside locations, and any other details that might be pertinent to your shoot. It just makes it easier when everything's on one page and you can easily see it. Number 4, we're not creative all the time. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not creative all the time. My brain goes through feeling really creative when I wake up and then kind of groggy for the middle of the day, and then 10 o'clock at night it decides to be creative again. So just assume that by the time you actually get to the photo shoot, that it's not specifically going to be your most creative time of the day. So that's another great reason to have a shot list, because you can prepare everything earlier, have your ideas, write down your ideas as they come to you, create that shot list, and then when you get there and you're a little bit like, I'm not feeling it, it doesn't matter because you have your list that you can just go through. So on days that you're feeling tired or tapped out, it just means that you're still able to get that done and get it accomplished. Number 5, shot lists are also a great way to group things together. So for instance, if I'm doing a single shoot with a couple of props and a couple of different background changes, then I can group them together all on one list. It's nice and easy. But if I was going to go to multiple locations or do multiple shoots in one day, then having separate shot lists for each part of that is going to be really useful. So for instance, this week or next week, I'm going to be doing a Christmas photo shoot. I don't know whether I'm going to be doing it over one day or 2 days, but I'm certainly going to be separating everything out. So one shot list, for example, might be everything to do with the Christmas tree. Another shot list might be everything to do with presents. Another shot list might be baking with the family and the kids. Another shot list might be the final food all set up nicely and things like that. And another one might simply be creating Instagram stories and Facebook headers where there's only one ornament so that it doesn't take up the whole space and leaves a lot of copy room. So with a mini shoot with just a couple of props and a couple of background changes, one shot list will be more than enough. But if you're going to be planning a much larger shoot, then being able to separate each portion of that shoot with multiple shot lists is probably a good way to go. And lastly, number 6, I would suggest kind of breaking your shot list into 2 parts. So in the top part of your shot list, I'd put things that you absolutely can guarantee that you're going to be doing. So these are your plain, basic, have to get shots. And at the bottom, you might put down some creative shot ideas. So if you've got time, then you can get to those other ideas. But if you don't have time, you know that if you just get those ones at the top done, then you know that you're sorted and you're set. So that's a good way of making sure that you absolutely get what you need, and then also having a bit of time for creativity and play at the end if you've got time. Now, I just want to give you a couple of reasons as to why I think shot lists are actually really important. For instance, you could use the shot list to see how efficient you actually can be. If you plan the shoot properly, how long does it take you to get all the shots that you have on your list? Because this can help you in a couple of ways. Number 1, it'll help you understand how long it takes you to get organized, get the shot done, do the editing and do all the uploading, so that in future you'll know how much time you need to put aside if you want to dedicate some time towards building your stock portfolio. And then, say you might want to move into doing branding shoots from home, you'll be able to confidently let a client know approximately how many photos you're going to be able to deliver and how much time it's going to take. And on top of that, you could even create your own packages, because then you'll feel confident in saying, okay, well, I'm going to provide 100 photos for this client in a 3-day turnaround period with X amount of props and X amount of background changes. So if you pretend that every shoot that you do is for a client, then it gives you some great practice and really helps you understand your processes and refine your processes, as well as creating a portfolio for yourself. And on top of that, if you do move into doing client work, then having a shot list that has to be signed off of by the client ensures that you're both on the same page when it comes to doing the shoot. So that's a win-win as well. And on top of all of that, it helps you when you come to keywording and uploading because you save a massive amount of time. Instead of doing like 2 photos and having to keyword for those 2 photos and then another 2 photos and keywording for those photos, and so you've got 30 photos that you need to put up but 15 different topics. In this instance, you're going to be putting up 30 to 50 photos that are all on the same topic. So it's going to save you a truckload of time when it comes to keywording and uploading when you can upload 10 photos with all the same titles and all the same keywords. So it really maximizes your time when it comes to that, and also when you're doing the editing, because all the shots within that one shoot will have similar lighting conditions and probably similar colors, then you should be able to create a preset from the first one and apply it to all of them, which will again save you time. Now, I found it quite hard, and I'm sure that there's others out there that feel the same way, to step into the world of photography, especially as a secondary career, and feel confident in actually charging money for what I do. But I've decided that it's about time that I do actually start putting myself out there, because how am I expected to make some money myself if I don't even put anything up on my website? So moving forward, I've decided I've got a couple of prints that I'm going to be putting up for sale, and the shot list that I'm working on and refining at the moment, I'm going to be putting up on my website in a couple of weeks for $7. It's going to come as part of a PDF packet that also includes research papers and ideas papers that will lead up to the shot list so that you can get the most out of it. So if you might be interested in that, leave a comment below and I'll drop you the link when it's up and going. And if you're watching this and it's the future, then the link to it might just be in the description. As mentioned, I'm going to be testing it out when I do this massive Christmas shoot this week or next week. So if I can pass that test, it will be ready to go up for sale. And just to finish off today, something a little bit different, I wanted to show you some cute footage of my mum's cat Smokey that I got while I was there stealing stuff for yesterday's shoot. And I'm pretty sure that Smokey would appreciate any likes and subscribes as much as I would. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And make sure to hit that notification bell if you want to see how that Christmas shoot comes out, because I promise I'll post it if it's a success or if it's a bust. We all need to learn from each other. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, so today we are coming to steal today we are coming to steal not the whole thing. Oh no, I'm not that mean. I'm just stealing the letters. See? So, that's all I'm stealing today. Haha! Next time she goes to play it, she'll be like, oh my goodness, where's all my stuff?